Yes.
Okay. So good evening all participant, all entrepreneur. भारत की नींव हमारे एमएसएमई भाइयों और बहनों. First of all, I would like to give my sincere gratitude with lots of humbleness to Suji sir, who is ex-income tax commissioner, a very dynamic personality, who is a founder of TaxBuddy. We have partnered with TaxBuddy to ease compliance towards income tax and compliance services for all your businesses and also the employment you have generated. So basically for your employees as well. Suji sir will be a host for today's session. The topic is quite wonderful. We'll all understand the GST insight as well as how GST can facilitate you to get for your funding requirement. So Suji sir will also guide you for the all the compliance need, how the this tax body function in a minute or two. EMSME supports you in government scheme discovery to disbursement. So basically, basis your Udyam registration certificate number, you can generate customized scheme discovery report for you, and our professional expert and our ecosystem partner will ensure that you get the fund you deserve basis obviously the eligibility and what Harshal sir will suggest you basis the counterparty cash flow and collateral whatever eligible for you, you will be able to achieve that benefit. And I humbly welcome Manish Gadia sir and Harshal sir for accepting this invite and giving their valuable time on Manish sir birthday and Harshal sir Paryushan Parv. So thank you so much sir once again for giving us time and sharing your valuable insights on it. Over to you, Suji sir.
Thank you very much. The thank you, MSME. See, the GST is very important. I always say GST is like oxygen for the business. Sometimes it may look like an exaggeration, but without GST compliance, business can't run properly. And I'm not saying this from the enforcement compliance part of, but more on a positive aspects of GST compliance, which our esteemed guest will guide us today. So, a good GST compliance can be a gateway to solve our financing needs, to solve our working capital needs, and even to improve the credit standing of a company. So GST compliance is very important. So looking forward to today's session. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker for today's webinar, CA Mr. Manish Gadia, a senior chartered accountant with over 25 years of practice in GST and indirect taxes. He has delivered more than 750 lectures across ICI, trade bodies, corporates, authored books, articles on taxation, and also served as chairman of WIRC ICI. With his vast expertise and passion for knowledge, he continues to inspire professionals and students alike. He mentors the new budding chartered accountant and professionals in GST and in indirect taxes regime. And it would be great pleasure for us to have some insight from you, Manish ji. So over to you, Manish ji.
First of all, thank you very much, Sujit sir, for your kind words. And I thank MSME and TaxBuddy for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. As Surjit sir has said that GST is a lifeline of any business. So it is very important. I'll just share my screen. My screen is visible, Ankushji?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So I will take you through what are the how GST will help you take a business planning, structuring, and what is the importance of GST in your business. So starting with my first slide. Whenever you get up in the morning, the first thing what you do is brush your teeth. So whatever toothpaste or toothbrush you are using will attract a GST. Hair dye, shampoo, shirt, pant, footwear, watch, whatever you are doing, whatever you are eating, phone you are using, perfumes you are using, shaving cream you are using, cosmetics you are using. So whatever you are doing, what you are doing is not using them, but you are paying GST to the government, and it has a big component. Currently, there are various type of slabs. We will go into that. So we all know that broadly there are 4 different types of slabs as of now. That is merit supply, 5%, standard supply is 12% or 18%, and luxury supply is 28%. So these are the different 4 major, we can say, a slab. But actually it is only 4 slabs. If you want, participants can write their views in the chat box also. If we go worldwide, there are only one single tax rate as far as GST or VAT is concerned, or maybe two slabs are there. But once when GST has been applicable in India, so they have come out with 4 different slabs. And with the objective, and that time government has said that we will reduce it to 2 major slab over a period of time when it will be stabilized. Now, after 8 years, you all know that on Independence Day, our Prime Minister announced something. But before that, my question, few of the answer I have got it, but I just compiled different GST rate as of now. So it is more than 36 different slabs are there. 0% that is exempted supply, 0.25% for precious metals, 3% for jewelry, 7.5% for residential housing, then different cess are there. Then again, in case of tobacco, GST is payable on the basis of the production capacity, not based on the percentage. So this different tax slabs are there, which is totally different from across the globe, where we have only 1 or maximum 2 tax slabs. So now government has realized, and you all know that on Independence Day, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir has announced that this Diwali, he will give us a Diwali bonus. And it is presumed that there will be a 2 slab, major tax slabs. I will not say that 34 or 36 tax slab will reduce to 2, but instead of 4, there will be 2 major tax slabs. That is, expectations are there. I'm not saying this is going to happen. We have to wait for 3rd and 4th September. Then the GST Council, next GST Council meeting is going to happen. So then it will be 5% for a basic item, and then standard rate will be 18%. So majority item will go into 18%, but life-saving drugs, etc., will go into 5%. Again, there has to be, what is my presumption is that precious metals like reduced rate of 0.25%, 3%, something like that will be continued. And then again, the higher rate for sin tax. What is sin tax is maybe a tobacco, cigarette, sugary drink. All these are sin tax. So higher slab, tax slab has to be there for this kind of product. So major reform, or what we call a GST 2.0 is going to come in near future, maybe across Diwali, but wait for 3rd or 4th September for the clarity on the same. So definitely Ankush ji will come out with another webinar once the GST Council meeting will happen on 3rd and 4th September for all of you. So we have to wait and watch, but this is a very welcome step taken by the Indian government, reduce it to 2%. And I will tell you that it is very, very, very difficult for any country in the world to have a dual GST model, that what we are following, CGST, SGST. Only 3 countries are following this dual GST model in the world out of 150 countries who have adopted GST model. उसमें से भी 3 कंट्री है और उसमें से भी एक ही कंट्री है जिसने सक्सेसफुली इसको implement किया है, that is India. And now another country of the world, in the world, is started following Indian GST model because they are not in a position to implement GST or VAT in their country. Can you guess that which country is following Indian for this dual GST model? Any guesses? You can write in the, okay. Arun Gargji has said Dubai. No, answer is not Dubai. You can write whatever you think correct. Singapore. Singapore already adopted GST. I'm saying the country who has not adopted GST. Pakistan. I will not comment anything on Pakistan. Okay. Saudi Arabia. So I will give the answer to this. That the country what I am referring to is USA. Because they also have the similar model what we have, federal system and the state. And both are having an equal power in their country. So now they are closely following Indian GST model for adopting the same. So now coming to GST compliance, what Surjit sir has said. So as far as GST compliance is concerned, there are various compliances, but the GST invoicing are very important. Because unless whenever you are selling any goods or supplying any goods or services, you require to issue GST tax invoice. And if that product is exempt, then you have to issue a GST bill of supply for the same. So I'm not going into detail that what is invoicing because you all are a businessman, you are doing the same. But what is important is that dynamic and QR code is mandatory for a company who are into the business or who are issuing a B2C invoices with aggregate annual turnover of exceeding 500 in the previous year. But as far as MSME is concerned, if their turnover is less than 500 crore, then that QR code is not mandatory on the invoice. But what is important for as far as MSMEs are concerned, e-invoicing and 6-digit HSN reporting on the invoice. If any business is having aggregate annual turnover of more than 5 crore rupees in the previous year, then they have to issue an invoice and it has to be IRN reference number has to be generated from the portal. That's what we call a e-invoicing. And unless you do the e-invoicing, it will not be treated as tax invoice and your customer will also not get the credit of the same if invoicing is mandatory for a supplier to issue. And as far as the supplier is concerned, also it will not be treated as tax invoice because it is not a proper compliance. So it is very, very important to follow e-invoicing, and nowadays the turnover of 5 crore is not a bigger turnover. Now I am going to another aspect, that is e-way bill. Nowadays you may be doing a business and you are into the supply of goods. In that scenario, many states, especially in the state of Tamil Nadu, state of UP, etc., they are very particular about the e-way bill. And it is mandatory not for the supply of goods. It is mandatory for the movement of any goods, whether as a sale, maybe for the purpose of job work, maybe for the purpose of demo, maybe for the purpose of sale or return basis. If any movement of goods is there and the value of that goods is over 50,000, in case of interstate, it is mandatory to issue e-way bill. And if e-way bill is not there, then you may liable for confiscation of a goods. And all the details required on the e-way bill need to be put on the e-way bill. And nowadays in Maharashtra, I was discussing with the commissioner of state tax, and he said that, I said, sir, you are not having any flying squad you are not intercepting a goods. So how you are going to manage this e-way bill? He said, sir, all the datas are there on the e-way bill portal. Again, whenever any vehicle is moving, all the vehicles are having a FASTag. If he is crossing any of the toll, so that data also we have with the motor Parivahan side. And e-invoicing data is also there with us. So if we do the reconciliation of these three, so we can easily find out whether any fraud is happening, whether the correct movement of the goods happen or not, correct tax has been paid by the supplier or not. So it is very crucial for all the MSME to do the reconciliation between e-invoicing, tax invoice, and their e-way bill on regular basis. What are the benefit of e-way bill, etc.? I think Harshal Bhai is going to take up in the next session. So I'm not going into that detailing. But as far as the reconciliation is concerned, it is very much mandatory for you to do a business. When draft GST bill came in the year 2016, that time government said, what is the objective of bringing GST? That was the question posed to the government, and government said that the main objective of to remove the cascading effect. Because in the earlier regime, traders were paying VAT, they were paying service tax, but that credit was not available. So there were various cascading effects were there. Hotels, luxury tax was there, the credit of the same was not available to anybody. So they said that bringing GST, one of the important aspect is to remove the cascading effect and to have a smooth GST input tax credit mechanism. So it is very important. How this ITC work? When somebody sell goods or services, then you collect GST from the customer. And the GST paid on purchase of input tax credit can be claimed back as set off. So take an example. If you see that there is a one ready wala who is a vendor and he is selling some goods worth rupees 100. And on that his product 18 rupees is GST. So he is selling this goods to another trader, wholesaler to retailer, or maybe manufacturer to the wholesaler, or maybe to the retailer. So what retailer is doing? He purchase, the cost to him will be 118. But since if that retailer is registered, then he will be in a position to take the credit of that 18 rupees. Once he will take the credit of this 18 rupees, then what will be his cost? Not 118, but his cost will be 100 rupees. Because 18 rupees is going to get back as input tax credit. How this mechanism will work? So take example, he purchased this product at 100 rupees, kept his margin of 50 rupees and sold at 150 rupees. And he has again collected 18% GST, that is 27 rupees from the customer. But out of 27 rupees, 18 rupees is already paid to the supplier. So fresh he will pay only 9 rupees to the government. So this is the way the cascading effect at 18 rupees, which is otherwise borne by the consumer, now it will be reduced, and how this input tax mechanism work. So it is a win-win situation for all the person who are into B2B business. And now the retailer will insist, wholesaler, to give GST invoice. Otherwise, the cost for him will become 118 instead of 100 rupees. तो जो हम बातें करते थे कि टैक्स चोरी होता है, लोग कच्चे में काम कर रहे हैं, so now it is not possible to do that with this mechanism in place. Because once you are into tax system, you become cheaper, otherwise you will be costlier. Then now how to claim your ITC? That is the another question. So once you want to claim ITC, you have to file your GSTR 3B return. Most of the supplier or most of the taxpayers are filing their monthly GSTR return, but the smaller taxpayer can file GST return on a quarterly basis also. That scheme is there. I'm not going into that scheme in detail. So in GSTR 3B, you have to declare your output liability and whatever input tax credit you want to claim, that you have to claim in your GSTR 3B. Again, section 16.2 says that your credit will be restricted whatever is disclosed in GSTR 2B of yours. So how credit will come in GSTR 2B is your supplier. In our example, in the previous slide, we have seen that Rediwala or that manufacturer will file his GSTR 1 on a monthly basis, and he will disclose your GST number, and again that he will disclose his bill number, he will disclose taxable value, he will disclose the tax amount. So once he will disclose this tax amount in his GSTR 1, it will become input tax credit and it will reflect the same in your GSTR 2B. And from there, that figure will go to your GSTR 3B. So credit should come in your GSTR 2B. And I will tell you, as I said, 154 countries in the world have adopted GST. And they are adopted just maybe 75 years earlier. But India is the only country in the world where this matching concept is there, matching mechanism is there. So hats off to the IT system and hats off to our government for making this kind of robust system. And once you want to claim a ITC, you should ensure that you should be in possession of tax invoice, or maybe e-invoice has to be there at what we discussed. You should be in receipt of goods or services, what you want to claim credit. You should ensure that your supplier must pay the tax to the government, and you should make the payment to your supplier within 180 days from the invoice date. And you should claim this credit in your return. These are the minimum compliance is required once you want to take the input tax credit. Now I am moving to another segment. For that, the Ankush ji has requested me that how the GST will help in decision making, how it will help you in growing your business, and how important it is. So one by one, first of all, GST will very useful in your costing. As we discussed in our example, that manufacturer sold goods 100 plus 18, and if you are GST registered, if a buyer is a GST registered, then he will get a credit of 18 rupees, then his costing will become 100 rupees, not 118. So it is very, very, very important that you should procure all your goods or services from GST registered person only. Otherwise, you will be costlier in your concept. So it is very important as far as your costing aspects are concerned. Next is discount. GST law provides that any discount given on the invoice upfront, then the supplier will pay GST on the discounted price. But in the business, it is possible that your supplier or you may come out with the scheme that if you are any of your customer will purchase goods worth rupees 10 crore during a year or make payment worth rupees 5 crore during a year, then you will give additional 2% discount to him. So if you decided pre-supply and make a correspondence, maybe on an email, maybe on a purchase or maybe on an agreement, then what will happen is you will issue invoice of 100 rupees, pay GST of 18 rupees, and your customer will take the credit of 18 rupees. This 5 crore or 10 crore turnover, whether achieved or not, you will come to know once you will achieve that target, maybe in the month of February or in the month of March. So during that period, your supplier will issue a credit note to that extent, and he will reduce his liability of that 2 rupees. And you will, and the customer will also reverse the credit what he has taken. So this will be win-win situation for both of them if they will enter this kind of agreement pre-supply. Otherwise, whatever discount the supplier is going to give, he will not be in a position to reduce his liability. So it means he will pay a tax at the higher value. So this is very important aspect. Another is credit note. So credit note, as far as GST is concerned, can be issued once you return the goods, or once the goods whatever you have supplied is defective, or maybe the services, if you have not supplied the services, then you can issue a credit note, or if your services are deficient. Only in this 4 scenario you can issue a credit note. Otherwise, you are not allowed to issue any credit note. So it is very important. If you issue any credit note apart from this 4, in that scenario, you will not be in a position to reduce your liability. And there is also a time limit for issuance of credit note. For example, 24-25 financial year, whatever supplies has been made, credit note can be issued till October 25. So still 2 months are there. So what you can do, you can check any goods, any defective is there or any claim is there from the supplier, from the customer, whether to accept or not to accept. You take the call immediately within a month or so, and then you can reduce your tax liability. So it is very important. Another aspect is your vendor KYC. Harshal sir is from bank. Correct, Harshal sir?
Yeah, correct.
And whenever you go to any bank, they first do the KYC of the customer before opening of the account, before giving the loan, or whatever transactions they will do. First, they will do the KYC of the customer. Correct, sir?
Yeah, of course.
So
It's
it
the
is
most
very,
important RBI norm.
yeah, not because of RBI. It is RBI compliance also, but it is for the health of the business also,
Business also.
health of
Yeah,
the bank also to do the KYC.
Yeah.
अगर मेरा सिविल रेटिंग कम होगा तो मुझे क्रेडिट देंगे ही नहीं कोई भी हालत में. Correct?
Yeah.
So it is also very important to do a KYC of our customer as well as our vendor. कस्टमर को हमने माल दे दिया और वो माल लेके भाग गया और पैसा नहीं दिया. So what is the use of doing business with him? वेंडर से आपने माल खरीदा, आपने 100 रुपए का माल खरीदा, 18 रुपए का उसने GST चार्ज किया, and you have paid 118 rupees to him. Later on, you will come to know that he has not paid that 18 rupees to the government. What will happen? What will happen? Government will come behind you and recover this 18 rupees along with interest of 18% plus 100% penalty. So it is very, very, very important that whenever you are doing a purchase from any vendor, you do a proper KYC of that vendor. And how you can do that KYC? Again, go to the GST web portal, GSTN. There you can see he is regularly filing his GSTR1, whether he is regularly filing his GSTR3B or not, he is regular in compliance or not. If he is not regular, if he is irregular, that don't do a business with him. I'll just share one example with you. And how this non-filing of return will impact business. I'll give you one example. I have one client who is a pharmaceutical company. And you all know that pharmaceutical company work through a distributor. They are not directly selling to the retailer or etc. So, and there are not much margin of distributor. So due to some technical glitch, GSTR1, as I said, GSTR1 need to be filed on or before 11th of the month. And if you will not file GSTR1 on time, then the credit will not reflect in the customer return in GSTR2B. So what happened is, instead of 1155, due to some technical glitch, is GSTR1 filed at 12.05. So delay of 5 minutes. But a delay of 5 minutes, the date changed. And what is the impact? Then this credit will come in the next month. And all the distributors said, sir, the credit which is blocked for a month for us, it will be difficult for us to get at least the margin देखते हुए मुझे 2 साल लगेगा ये क्रेडिट के लिए लेने को. So now you pay us the same. So what I mean to say is, you have to be very prompt in your compliance. Do not wait for a last moment to happen. Next is zero rated supply. What is zero rated supply? When you are exporting the goods or services, or you are supplying goods or services to a SEZ, then it is called zero rated. Again, in that, it has been given 2 options. One is you can make the payment of tax and export the services or goods, or without payment of tax, you can supply the goods or services. Once you are supplying goods without payment of tax, then you can claim a refund of your ITC. But once you go for refund of your ITC in case of goods, it will take a longer time. Another option is you make the payment of tax and then you claim your ITC in a regular way, and whatever tax you have paid, you can claim a refund of the same. And this refund directly comes from a custom portal matching with your GST return. So it will be easier to get the same. So again, you have to think what is beneficial for me to with payment of tax or maybe without payment of tax. Another position may be that in case whenever you are inverted duty structure, where your output tax is suppose 5%, but your input tax is 18%, then it is always better to export the goods or maybe services without payment of tax. Then you can claim a higher amount. So again, it is a decision making based on the business. I cannot say which is better. It is depend on the business to business. That call you have to take. Another is registration. There are various type of registration. Mandatory registration, voluntary registration. Maybe you can go in a composition scheme. So once your turnover exceeds 20 lakhs, if you are into services, or if you are supply of goods, your turnover exceeds 40 lakhs, then it is mandatory for you to take a registration. Once you take the registration, regular registration, then you can be in a position to claim ITC and you can charge GST extra and you can take the benefit of the same. Another scheme is composition scheme, where the tax is very less, compliance is also very less, but you will not be in a position to take the credit. And you can not be in a position to charge that GST extra. Take an example of restaurant. रेस्टोरेंट में जब भी आप जाते हैं तो आपने देखा होगा उनको 2 ऑप्शंस हैं. They can charge GST at the rate of 5% and no ITC is available. And another scheme is they can go into composition. Once they go into composition, they cannot be in a position to charge that 5%. It will be inclusive of tax. So I always suggest that as far as the restaurants are concerned, कोई भी कस्टमर आता है वो ऑलवेज मेनू पे कितना रेट है वो देखता है. वंस यू आर इनटू कंपोजिशन तो आपको एक आइटम 105 की दिखेगी लेकिन बाजू वाले को में 100 दिखेगी. So you are more comfortable paying 100 plus 5 instead of 105 upfront. So it depends which is more beneficial for you. Whether your customer are in a position to take the credit, once you are into a trading business, then there is no use for going composition. But if you are into consumer business, then you can think of going into composition scheme. So which registration to be taken also need to be discussed. Again, in case there are various situations where it is mandatory to take a registration, take an example of agent or maybe the authorized service stations. So irrespective of their turnover, they are required to take the registration. Then you don't have any other option than to take the registration. Input tax credit. Again, already many things we have discussed as far as ITC is concerned. So input tax rate is always beneficial to take. Again, in that various schemes are there. Then again, if you go to 17.5, block credits are there. Very many credits are restricted. Harshal sir is into the bank. Again, bank has been, you know that majority income is interest income, which is not liable for GST. So the government has come out with a specific scheme saying that you can claim 50% of your input tax credit irrespective of your taxable or exempted turnover. Various block credits are there. So Ankush, suppose EMSME come out with a physical seminar next time. So where the seminar will include food, etc. So he will get the credit of that food item also. But same Ankush will come to my office and I will offer him a tea and snacks. So whatever restaurant will charge GST on the same, I will not get the credit. So various things are there depending on your business. You have to take a call whether ITC is available, not available, which scheme I should go as far as ITC is concerned. Various compliances are there. Another thing what we can discuss is refund. So as I said, you can claim refund of input tax credit. Then if you have paid anything cash, tax extra in cash, that you can claim refund. There may be inverted duty structure. As I said, if suppose your output tax is 5%, but your input tax is 18%, then you can also get a refund of the same. So if possible, if you can have another line of business where you can have another output where tax rate may be 18% or 28%. So both that input tax put together, then you can avoid paying refund, claiming refund also. So refund, there is also a timeline. So all these things you have to keep in mind. Next thing, as far as GST is concerned, is your contract. It is very, very, very important. Take an example. We are sitting in Mumbai, and Mumbai, if you go to any construction, they have always redevelopment. In case of redevelopment, society enter into a contract with the builder, and builder agreed that he will give certain area free of cost to the existing member. Whether GST on the same is applicable or not. If your contract is silent, or if your contract builder developer say that it is inclusive of all the taxes, then he will be liable to pay GST at the rate of 5% on the same, but he will not be in a position to recover the same from the buyer. So ultimately, this project will not be viable for the builder. So your contract terms should be very clear in how many days you are going to pay, what will be the GST rate, whether any discount will be there or not. So all these are very, 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 very important aspect as far as your business are concerned. So these are some of the things that I thought may be very important. And whatever I discussed today was my opinions or views, and opinions or views are like wristwatches. Every watch shows different time from others, but everyone believes that their time is right. Now you can post any question related to GST whatever we have discussed. So it will be my pleasure to answer the same.
So thank you very much, Manish ji. It was really insightful session. Actually, I thought time is less because I got a feeling I should keep listening. And this is my usually I always all the time I feel like I'm learning more and more because GST issues are evolving with the time. So I will share some questions which users have actively asked in the chat. So the first question has come was your comment on GST on petrol and liquor with respect to this Diwali bonus, whether there will be any effect on that.
See, government is thinking to bring not liquor, but petroleum product into GST net. But as I discussed that we have a dual system, all the states should also be agree for the same. As of now, all the states are not agreed to bring petroleum and liquor both into the GST net. So Diwali bonus, my personal view, I am not astrologer, sir, but my personal view seems that it is not possible that it will come into GST net so early.
Oh,
But sooner or later, maybe in GST 3.0, we will get we will have the same.
yeah. So another question from one of the listener is there any way of tracking payment within 180 days? How is this complied?
So that question is for me. So I wanted to know.
Yeah, to that Harshal sir will answer.
So you
the
can
same.
answer now, no problem. You can answer
No,
now.
Harshal
No,
sir will answer. Achha, okay, Harshal sir, now you want to answer or
You can
later?
no,
answer.
my question was, you said that to get the input credit, you have to make the payment within 180 days. So
Hmm.
how is there any way we can track this, or because I wanted to understand if I can at this point in my credit appraisal also. So from that perspective, yeah.
Okay. So, see, this is the person who is claiming ITC has to make the payment to his vendor within 180 days. So, not as a banker, but the buyer himself has to keep a check of the same. And then within 180 days, if he has not made the payment, he has to reverse the credit and he can take the credit once he will make the payment. So as of now, there are no tracking mechanism, but I heard that few, one or two softwares are there which can throw this to the buyer himself.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Harshal, for asking this question. So Manish ji, एक यूजर से आपके लिए once more आया regarding concept on discount, managing GST for discount. Let me tell you, we face this issue in tax body also many times. So it's very common issue. So if you in 1 minute or two, if you explain it again.
Okay. So it's very important for any businessman. So discount may be two types of discount, Surjit ji. One is one discount what you give a upfront on the invoice itself. मेरा समझो ये जो मोबाइल है ये 50,000 रुपए का है. मैं दुकान में गया, बोले सर ये 50,000 रुपए का है, लेकिन मैं आपको आज हमारा स्पेशल स्कीम चल रहा है, so I will give you 5,000 rupees discount कंपनी की तरफ से and I will charge you 45,000. So what he will do? 50,000 less discount 5,000, taxable value 45,000. He will charge GST on 45,000 and give it to me. Correct? So his sale value will become 45,000. So there is no issue
Right.
as far as this upfront discount is concerned.
Right.
Second type of discount is discount decided pre-supply but given post-supply. So maybe आपने अंकुश जी को कहा कि यू आर माई डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर और टैक्स बड़ी की अगर आपने 1,000 सब्सक्रिप्शन मेरे बेच दिए पूरे साल में या 5 लाख रुपए का माल मेरा बेच दिया सब्सक्रिप्शन का आपने, तो मैं आपको 5% एक्स्ट्रा कमीशन या आपको 5% एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट दूंगा. कमीशन नहीं दूंगा, आपको 5% डिस्काउंट दूंगा. ठीक है? तो ये अप्रैल मई जून जुलाई करते करते फरवरी या मार्च में जाके पता चलेगा कि उन्होंने वो टारगेट अचीव किया या नहीं किया. करेक्ट. इट मे बी क्वांटिटी बेस्ड डिस्काउंट, it may be the volume based discount, it may be the amount based discount, and sometime company says कि नहीं मेरा 25 लाख रुपए का पेमेंट आ जाएगा तो मैं डिस्काउंट दूंगा इतना. So any discount, but may be decided pre-supply. That is अप्रैल में आपने एक एग्रीमेंट कर लिया और ये कमिटमेंट उनको दे दिया. सो आप टैक्स बॉडी में क्या करोगे सर? 1000 रुपए का सब्सक्रिप्शन है तो 1000 रुपए का ही बिल बनाते जाओगे. ठीक है. बट आपको मार्च में पता चला तो देन व्हाट यू विल डू इज इन द मंथ ऑफ मार्च यू विल इशू अ क्रेडिट नोट ऑन EMSME saying this कि this is the discount or quantity discount, payment upfront payment discount, volume discount, whatever as discussed on based on this invoice. So you will issue a credit note. So earlier you have paid tax on maybe 10 lakh rupees का आपने माल बेचा होगा तो 10 लाख रुपए पे पूरा आपने 18% GST 1,80,000 भर दिया. बट अभी आप उनको लाख रुपए का डिस्काउंट दे रहे हैं. तो आप क्रेडिट नोट इशू करोगे और लाख रुपया प्लस 18,000 रुपए का क्रेडिट नोट इशू करोगे. यू विल अपलोड दैट क्रेडिट नोट इन योर GSTR1. सो 3B में आपकी लायबिलिटी जो है अगले महीने में 18,000 से कम हो जाएगी. ओके. एंड ये अंकुश जी 18,000 रुपए का ITC, क्योंकि इन्होंने भी तो 1,80,000 का ITC ले लिया. करेक्ट. बट इनको लेना तो वो 1,68,000 ही चाहिए था. तो ये 18,000 रुपए का अपना ITC रिवर्स करेंगे क्योंकि इनके भी ये सिस्टम पे तो दिखेगा 2B में आ ही जाएगा. तो इस तरीके से दिस सिस्टम वर्क. तीसरा डिस्काउंट क्या होता है कि अंकुश जी आपके पास आते हैं अप्रैल में नहीं आते, आपके पास आते हैं फरवरी में. बोले सुरजीत जी देखो मैंने आपका तो 25 लाख रुपए का माल बेच दिया. ठीक है. आप मेरे को कुछ एक्स्ट्रा दो. तो दिस इज नॉट डिसाइडेड प्री सप्लाई. करेक्ट. So once it is not decided pre-supply, so you will not be in a position to reduce that 18,000 रुपए का liability. You are liable to pay on 180 only. So this is how this discount system works.
नहीं, बहुत बढ़िया. You explained it in a better way. I also got answers to my questions. There was another question by one user related to this. Can I raise credit note for discount offer to the customer? I think he got answer from your this
Yeah.
detailed
Credit note need to be
explanation.
issued. Yeah.
So another one question from the user is regarding insurance claim. कि why we do not take ITC for insurance claim?
इंश्योरेंस क्लेम का सर दो तरीके के हैं. एक तो आप अगर मेडिक्लेम है या आपका लाइफ इंश्योरेंस है उसका आपको नहीं मिलेगा. बट अगर आपने फैक्ट्री का इंश्योरेंस लिया है, गुड्स का इंश्योरेंस लिया है, मशीनरी का इंश्योरेंस लिया है, दैट क्रेडिट इज अवेलेबल. बट मोटर कार का इंश्योरेंस है वो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है 17(5) में.
राइट.
Yeah.
सो एक अच्छा क्वेश्चन मैंने देखा यहाँ पे. एज यू नो नाउ जेम का पोर्टल आया है तो पूरा गवर्नमेंट प्रोक्योरमेंट गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग जेम के थ्रू होता है. तो एक इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है कि आई एम ए गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर एंड व्हाट कैन बी सजेशन फॉर मी. तो आप कुछ उनको आप ये दे सकते हैं कुछ सजेशन, कुछ कंप्लायंस GST कंप्लायंस रिलेटेड कुछ टिप, एक आध दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट टिप.
सर अगर आप गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं
तो मैं
तो
थोड़ा
आप
सा मॉडिफाई करता हूँ उनका क्वेश्चन. जैसा उन्होंने सिर्फ बट गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर में बहुत बार GST का लोडिंग का एक बर्डन होता है. मैं जितने मेरे फ्रेंड्स को मिलता हूँ ना वो अपना वैल्यू जो बोलते हैं ना वो इतना वैल्यू प्लस इतना GST एंड दे कंसीडर GST एज अ कॉस्ट. Right. And from that angle, I think there is much confusion on ITC in government contractors.
नहीं GST में सर आपको जो भी आप प्रोक्योर कर रहे हैं मे बी गुड्स मे बी सर्विसेज सबका क्रेडिट आपको मिलेगा. सो यू शुड नॉट कंसीडर दैट योर कॉस्ट. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट व्हाट वी डिस्कस्ड आल्सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ एग्जांपल.
So thank
और
you.
आपको
Another
GST कंप्लायंस प्रॉपर करना है वो तो इम्पोर्टेंट है. किसी को भी अगर बिजनेस
Yeah,
करना है
absolutely.
इंडिया में तो
absolutely. One more question, interesting, is what will be the impact on GST held in stock at higher rate post changes in GST law at lower rate? आई थिंक ये पोस्ट दिवाली ऑफर का कुछ स्टॉक के एडजस्टमेंट के लिए बोल रहे हैं, जीएसटी इम्पैक्ट के लिए. सो लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आइसक्रीम 18% पे है और उसको 5% पे लाते हैं तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा. जस्ट एक माय अंडरस्टैंड, आई गिव वन एग्जांपल. तो आप क्या बता सकते हैं मनीष जी ऑन दिस?
तो अगर सर आपका कोई भी गुड्स है जो हायर रेट पे था और लोअर पे आ गया, तो जो आपने क्रेडिट ले लिया है वो तो आप कंटिन्यू करो, उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है, और आप एन नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स उसको कंटिन्यू कर सकते हो, जो आपका एक्स्ट्रा आईटीसी है. तो देयर इज नो इशू एट ऑल, भले ही कम हो या ज्यादा हो. अगर ज्यादा हो गया तो आपको कैश में पे करना पड़ेगा वंस यू आर गोइंग टू सेल द सेम.
Right, perfect. Now, another one question actually, it is related to discount. If you see, you can understand. The question is, if I purchase a good with GST and deduct cash discount from payment, then do we have to reverse the GST on the same amount?
So as I said, this cash discount, what I presume is not given on the invoice itself. बट जैसे कि अंकुश जी ने आपसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया टैक्स बडी से और कहा कि मेरा पेमेंट टर्म्स 3 महीने का है, लेकिन अगर मैं समझो आपको 1 महीने में पेमेंट करता हूं तो आप मुझे 2% एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट देना है, एंड यू एग्रीड फॉर दैट. So if it is decided pre-supply, then you can issue a credit note and reduce your liability. But if it is not decided pre-supply, और अंकुश जी के पास आज पैसा पड़ा है और वो आके आपको बोलते हैं कि नहीं मेरे को भी आप एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट दो तो मैं पेमेंट देता हूँ और आपको पेमेंट की जरूरत है, तो you will not be in a position to reduce your liability. The same way that volume discount, cash discount, quantity discount, payment discount, whatever you call it.
Manish,
Perfect.
sir,
Perfect.
I'll take 30 seconds. Sir, so there are a number of questions coming for this topic for Manish ji, for you. Humble request, if you can, stay with us little late. So after Harshal's session, if you can take those questions.
But I
Because
think
many-
1 minute, 1 minute more is there.
Surely. Okay.
5:55.
Yeah.
तो स्टिल वी हैव 1 minute. So last question मनीष जी, एक वन ये मुझे अच्छा लगा उन्होंने जो पूछा है, that is crux. What is the most effective compliant method to reconcile GSTR 1 and 3B of suppliers with our GSTR 2B so that we can ensure accurate ITC claims and avoid mismatch? Just a quick in 30 seconds if you can answer this.
Sir, various softwares are now available. I will not promote any software. So they are doing this kind of reconciliation and give it to you. Or otherwise also you can download in Excel whatever the credits are in there in your 2B. And you can also download the credit in your ledger books of account and then reconcile in Excel also.
Perfect. Thank you very much. It was a really good, insightful session, Manish ji. Regarding the input tax credit, see softwares अपनी जगह पे, the best way for any businessman is that phone उठाओ पार्टी को बोलो. that is the best way to claim credit, right? So thank you very much for this session. Now let me introduce our another guest for this today's session of CA, Mr. Harshal Shah. He is business head business banking assets at Kotak Mahindra Bank. With over 2 decades of leadership in banking and finance, Mr. Harshal has played a pivotal role in shaping SME and business banking solutions at Kotak. A chartered accountant by profession, he brings deep financial expertise and practical insights to today's discussions. The good part with Harshal ji's experience is that he is having a taxation domain expertise also, and he is witnessing day-to-day problems of the SMEs whenever he's writing. So it will be insightful. And also always see banking, bank is is a institution. After wife, we need the support of bank in our life. So that's why banks are very important. So we are looking forward to this session. Over to you, Harshal. So.
Yeah, thanks, Sujit. Thanks a lot for this introduction. After the session, we had heard from Manish, sir. I think my session will be extremely small, and I don't think whether I will be able to live up to what Manish sir has just informed us in terms of the vast knowledge he has just given us. But I will try to take to you through what how GST is helpful to the banks and financial institutions currently, and what is the role GST is playing in our appraisal, credit appraisal of MSMEs. So just I will share my presentation. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So yeah, as you all of you are aware, MSME is the most important segment for our country as a whole. There are currently 634 MSMEs, 34 lakh MSMEs in India. Out of that, 335 lakhs are under small and medium category, and 136 lakh MSMEs are under micro enterprises, and they file GST. The other 500 lakh MSMEs who are classified under micro enterprises, they don't file GST. So the all the banks currently, all the financial institutions currently focus on the segment which are filing GST, which is the small and micro enterprises who are filing GST. And this segment is giving a lot of growth to all the banks' balance sheet. In the current environment, you are aware that the credit growth is not happening that high in the Indian economy. But in the MSME segment, like Kotak Mahindra Bank itself is growing at around 25% currently year on year. Similarly, my competitors like ICICI, HDFC, Axis, Yes Bank are also growing at a similar pace. So this segment is the most important, and all banks are focusing on this segment currently.
Harshil sir,
Yeah,
your volume is coming little low, so people asking if you can come to the mic.
just 1 minute. Are you able to hear clearly now?
Yeah, sir, little louder will work well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah. So I'm saying that currently all the banks and financial institutions are focusing on the MSME segment to grow, and GST has played a lot of important role in helping in banks pushing the credit growth to this new segment. GST has helped in formalizing the economy in a bigger way, in a much bigger way, and this has resulted in credit growth in the MSME segment. So the small and this micro enterprises who don't file GST, it's very difficult to underwrite those enterprises because we don't have any data coming from directly from the source for this segment of customers. Okay, so how GST is important assessment tool for banks. Compliance GST helps us understand whether the businesses are compliant with all the relevant rules and regulations which are applicable to the business or not. The GST data can be fetched digitally by banks. I will take you through in the next slide on how the data is fetched by banks. So the data is fetched by bank directly digitally from the GST website. So that gives a lot of comfort to the banks and financial institution in authenticity of the data. And so that builds a trust level in while underwriting the customers and taking calls on the MSME, even if the financials are little, or even if the turnover is a little low of the customer, we will be willing to lend to customers who are having good good GST footprint as such. Okay, so some of the points Manish has covered in his presentations, but the GST data which the bank uses currently for appraisal, the turnover data of the customers. So we check the turnover, we collect data of 12, 36, 12, 24, 36 months of the customer from GST. And it helps us check whether there is a sudden dip or growth in turnover, any seasonality in the business, year-on-year trends in the business, in the turnover category. And that helps us in deciding what kind of limit we can fund to the customer. Okay, the GST data which we pull from the website, from the GST website, gives us the supplier and vendor details, the top 10 suppliers, top 10 vendors of the customer. So we are able to relate whether there is any group concern also, which is major turnover is coming from any group concerns of the borrower. So that will be a red flag for us. So we will do a further due diligence on those cases. All the data of the suppliers and vendors, as Manisha said, the vendor KYC. So we use that data also to ensure that whether the suppliers and vendors of this customer, of the borrower which we are underwriting, are also having a good compliance on the GST. I'll show you how we look at that data also. The GSTR filing, again, consistency in filing, whether the customer is filing a quarterly or monthly filing, whether all the data, whether the timely filing has been done by.
Sir, your voice is breaking. Harshal sir, your voice is breaking or not coming.
One call came in, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so GST filing is the most important parameter for us while underwriting a customer. Tax payment, Manisha said whether the customer is doing only ITC, how much ITC input he is taking on. If the ITC inputs is extremely high and there is no tax payment which the customer is doing, then there is no value addition which the customer is doing on his own. So that helps us in deciding what kind of profile the customer is having. E-invoices, again, as Manisha said, this is authentic sales data, which helps us reduce the manipulation which are there currently in some of the customers. And e-way bill, this is becoming one of the most important parameters for us to underwrite the customers. So in a supply chain finance where we don't have a corporate or relationship, or where the customer is supplying goods to a smaller company, basis e-way bill, we can give a supply chain finance to the customer, because e-way bill indicates that the goods has been delivered to the other party and there is a indirect acceptance of those goods. Basis that we can go ahead and fund the customer. Okay, so the underwriting piece, I have covered number of points here, but again, concentration is, so when a customer gives me GST data, we can see whether there is a concentration risk with one or two customers only. Then it will help me decide what kind of underwriting or what kind of loan I want to give the customer. Tax payment, I said earlier also, payment made in cash or ITC claimed. So it helps us decide what is the value addition. Also, the GST data gives us an idea on what kind of gross profit the customer is making on the sales which he is doing, because there is a purchase data also and there is a sales data also which is there in GST. GST hygiene, regularities in filing, timely payments, any default, if it is there, it is a red flag for us. Status of GSTN associated to that point. So if a customer has number of GSTNs, we can get the data of all the other GSTs also. So any products also, any change in product resulting in risk. If a customer is dealing in one product throughout the year and suddenly changes his product, it is a red flag for us. So it helps us in deciding underwriting the customer. So how the GST data currently we are pulling as all the financial institutions. We pull GST data either with the consent of the borrowers or without the borrower consent. The data on borrow without, when we are pulling the data without borrower consent, it is used to pre-approve or pre-qualify the customers. So I would have some customers in my book where I don't know whether I can fund this customer or not. So I go on GST data, I pull up the GST non-consented data of the customer. This is the vendor KYC data which Manisha referred to. And basis that, I will decide what kind of amount I can pre-approve or pre-qualify the customer on. So we do use CIBIL data also, and we use the bank customer data with the bank, available with the bank. But this data helps us in deciding, like it gives us a turnover range of the customer. So if he's filing a monthly, quarterly GST, if he's a GSTR 9 or 9C applicability, basis that we get to understand what is the turnover range of this customer. The other data which we pull is with the borrower's consent. So where we send a link to the borrower inputs the OTP on the link, and we get the data at the back end in our CLOS, our LOS loan origination systems. So this helps. This is the entire data of the customer which we pull on the GST, which is the data which I earlier told you of buyer, supplier, HSN code, transaction in last 12 months. We collect data for 24 months, 36 months also. So year on year also, and we can get a number of checks done basis this data. In the future, in the near future, GST will also be available on account aggregator. Currently, only bank statements can be pulled by banks through account aggregator. In the SEMATI framework currently is working on putting GST also on this account aggregator framework. Okay, so key benefits for MSME. This is the faster credit access through GST linked lending. So many banks have come up with a GST surrogate. We also have a GST surrogate where only basis the GST data which you are giving to the bank, you will be eligible for a loan amount, whether working capital loan or unsecured loan. So most of the banks are having this product. For the MSME, it's a reduced paperwork. They have to just share the, they have to just give access to the banks to the GST data digitally. There is no paperwork involved in that. The banks, it's the MSME credibility can be seen with the type of GST compliances he is doing, and ease of sharing documents with the bank. For the banks, it is the most easiest way to collect the borrower's data and to understand what kind of turnover, what kind of filing frequency, and basis that underwrite the customer. GST also data also provides us cash flow insights. How much turnover he is doing monthly, how much throughput, how much purchases he is doing. So his cash flow, we can get an idea on the cash flow of the customer also from this. It also provides us early warning alerts wherever the turnover is dipping of the customer. So we are working on a framework where we continuously seek the GST data from the customer. So there it provides us, instead of taking the stock statements from the customer for working capital limits, we can take the GST data also of the customer, and that can give us an idea on what kind of a turnover drop or irregular filing the customer is doing. For bank, GST helps us to do a lot of faster underwriting of the customer. So the tax of the customer, where currently it's one of the major challenges for bank. So this data fetching digitally and running a rule engine at the back end gives us a faster underwriting of the customers. Yeah, that was mainly points on how the banks are using on GST. Just I will take you through what we as a BBA business banking assets work on. So we have 5 divisions within my vertical, which is working capital finance. There is a business loans vertical. There is a small business enterprises which underwrites loans up to 2 crores, secured and unsecured. There is a healthcare finance and a supply chain finance division. So we fund up to 20 crores of loan amount to our customers. Primarily micro and small enterprises customers are targeted by us. We provide all the fund-based and non-fund-based products which this category of customers require. We provide solutions on all these products. We are present across the entire country in all the small and big markets. And we provide both secured and unsecured financing to the customers. So we are one-stop shop for all the MSME requirements on the lending side of the customer. So yeah, as I said, working capital related, all products, fund-based and non-fund-based products we are doing, including export finance, import finance, non-fund-based buyer's credit, bank guarantee, term loan, foreign currency term loans. So all these products are being financed by us. On the unsecured business loan, we give loans up to 1 crore unsecured based on the financials of the customer. There is a GST surrogate program where up to 35 lakh funding we are doing on the GST surrogate. On the CGTMSE, which is the government scheme on micro and small enterprises, we fund up to 50 lakhs of limits. And then there's a surrogate program on banking surrogate also. We fund professional segments also like CAs, doctors, loans up to 40 lakh, 50 lakh, those kind of loans also we fund. And then there's a credit card receivable. If you are a retail enterprises, you will have a machine, credit card machine at your place, and we fund basis that machine also. So some of the new products which we have launched recently is the healthcare equipment loan, the industrial equipment loan, and solar funding. So industrial equipment is if you're putting up a machine in your factory, then we can give a loan, unsecured loan up to 3 crores to a specific metal, plastic, or packaging industry category of customers. We fund up to 80% of the invoice value. And then on the healthcare equipment, like machines like cath lab and all, also we are funding loans on that also. And then solar funding, we are, if a customer is setting up, if a borrower is setting up a solar unit within his premises, or he's setting up a, he's taking some share in that, then we fund on that also. So yeah, that's that. Yeah. Thanks, Ankush, again for providing me this opportunity. If any questions are there, I will like to answer that.
Sir, I'll take
Thank-
just a minute. I'll take just a minute, sir. So around 5,500 entrepreneurs joined, out of which many charter accountant firm and government official also joined. I request all to keep raising your question to both Harshal sir and Manish sir. Over to you, Sujit sir.
Thank you, Harshal ji. Insightful session. And now over to audience for the questions. Obviously, I was expecting this question. So first question is regarding CGT MSc scheme. So the question is like this, quote, kindly guide us more about CGT MSc scheme related to bank policy for extending loans to MSMEs, and also guide us more about bill discounting eligibility. How is Kotak Bank comfortable in financing in tier 2, tier 3 cities?
Yeah, so CGTMSE gives as per the government scheme, they will increase the funding up to 10 crores on the micro and small segments of customers. So it is not applicable to medium segment customers. Medium segment is somebody who will have a turnover above 100 crores. So there it is not applicable. But below that, for micro and small customers, 10 crores तक funding कर सकते हैं. We are doing a lot of funding in this segment. So 30% of my disbursements come from this CGTMSE back funding. But our ticket sizes are generally in the range of 1 crore, 1.5 crore, 2 crores kind of ticket sizes. So we do a financial based underwriting also in this, and then there's a surrogate based underwriting also, like a CGTM, GST based underwriting for CGTMSE exposures. We are present in all the tier 2, tier 3 cities in India, except some part of Northeast. We are present in all the cities. So we are very comfortable in funding in all these markets also. Regarding bill discounting, there is a supply chain finance which we do, which is either focused on the vendor-based financing, or if there is a corporate which is there and you are supplying to a corporate, we do supply chain finance basis that corporate program with the corporate also, or we do a individual one-on-one underwriting with the company, with the borrower also. So it's a vast field. I will not be able to cover it in this session. But yeah, if somebody wants details, I can through Ankush, I can share the details with them.
So, Harshal, can you please guide user on this one? Common question in small entrepreneurs is about, we always say that GST based financing is easily available for working capital, right? So how it can be easily accessed by businesses?
No, so the businesses will have to give me the access to their GST data. So when he applies for loan with Kotak Mahindra Bank, we will share a link with the customer. On that link, he has to give access. So he will have to input his OTP, password OTP, and give me access so that I am able to fetch the data from the website directly. So on the working capital funding, we do fund up to 3.5 crores of loans under CGT, purely based on GST of the customer, not taking their financials like audit statements and all, which was the standard way of underwriting loans earlier, where we used to collect bank statements and audited financials of the customer, and based on that, we used to assign a loan amount to the customer. Today, for smaller ticket loans up to 5 crores, most of the banks have shifted to GST based underwriting.
And in GST based underwriting, you take physical collateral.
Yeah,
Partial.
collateral, like if it depends on the program. Like if it is a CGTMSC program, the collateral will not be there. If it is a normal program, collateral will be there.
Okay, thank you. This would be very much useful for all the audience because it is very common. You are the best person to answer that. So one question regarding the again GST, Maniji, you can answer this question. It is regarding in case of import of service. It was regarding import of service. In case of import of service, we purchased the service and sold to one of our client, but we got purchase invoice from supplier late. Do we need to pay interest on RCM?
Yes, absolutely. You are required to pay interest on the delay in payment of your RCM at the rate of 18%.
Okay.
But
Thank
you
you.
will get the credit of the same, no issue.
So credit is available.
But
Obviously,
interest is your loss.
interest pay करना ही पड़ेगा आपको.
Yes.
Next, another question, whether a civil contractor or civil subcontractor can claim ITC paid on purchases made for executing his tender of roads, dam, similar constructions for section 17.5 from section 17.5, 17 in bracket 5 angle.
Correct. So it's a very good question, Sujit ji. So if you are procuring a work contract service and again you are giving a work contract service, then there is no restriction of credit in the seal. If you are procuring any goods or maybe procuring any services for which is used for a work contract service, then again there is no such restriction. So in your question, the civil subcontractor or maybe the main contractor who is making payment to the subcontractor will get the credit. 17.5C as well as 17.5D will not applicable in this scenario.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Maniji. Harshal ji, this question is for you. CGTMSC is the scheme. What is the eligibility for this scheme? Any defined parameters for turnover and profitability?
So like, customer should be, the borrower should be filing the GST return. So any customer who has a turnover of about 1 crore, we will be willing to fund that customer under CGTMSC. Profitability, yeah, the business should be profitable. It should not be a loss-making business. We fund only, we will fund a profitable business only, unless there are some other points available in the business, in the appraisal. In my appraisal, if I get to see other things, then I will look at funding that customer also. But 99% of our customers are profitable business, and where the turnover is above 1 crore kind of a range under CGTMSC funding. But we do start our unsecured funding from 1 lakh rupee loan also. So customers from 1 lakh also, the customer can get a loan, unsecured loan from 1 lakh rupee also.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Manish ji, one more question to you. I think, Ankush ji, how much time? Couple of minutes?
Yes, sir. 6 more minutes.
Okay, okay. So, Manish ji, one more question. Can penalty under section 73 be charged while passing the order by GST appellate authority when tax amount itself is rupees 100, that is tax determined 100, penalty levied 20,000?
Generally ऐसा होता नहीं है, but again depending on the fact कि आपका टैक्स अमाउंट आपने कम भरा है, but आपने जीएसटी का रिटर्न ही लेट फाइल किया है, so then it is not a penalty for non-payment of tax, but the penalty of 20,000 may be for late filing of your return. So it depending on the fact.
It
But
depends.
generally in general terminology, only आपका payment delay है या पेमेंट नहीं किया है, उसकी वजह से 100 के ऊपर 20,000 का पेनल्टी नहीं होगा।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। वन मोर क्वेश्चन मनीष जी, आपको इसमें थोड़ा ये प्रेडिक्शन करना है कि whether the GST will be reduced on UPS system from present 18% and battery from present 28%। तो आपका एस्ट्रोलॉजर माइंड क्या बोलता है इसमें, व्हाट विल हैपन इन दिवाली धमाका?
Difficult to answer this question because as I said, I am not astrologer, but मुझे लगता है कि अगर 28% की स्लैब हटाते हैं, and since this is not a sin product, UPS, so may come to 18%, but difficult to answer at this moment.
तो मनीष सर,
Perfect.
एक सवाल मेरा भी था, मतलब दिस आप जो थर्ड फोर्थ का जीएसटी काउंसिल बोल रहे हैं, तो दैट डिक्लेरेशन विल कम ऑन दैट और इट विल कम ऑन दिवाली ओनली? बिकॉज आई फील दैट पीपल हैव स्टॉप परचेसेस एंड इट इज इम्पैक्टिंग माय बिजनेस आल्सो नाउ।
नहीं, तो इसमें क्या होगा सर, 3rd and 4th को जीएसटी काउंसिल मीटिंग होगी, then they will take a decision in this,
या
and for that they will give a press release. After press release, they will decide one date, कि from which date this rate will be reduced or how it will going to applicable, because they have to not only answer or reduce or change the rate, but rate change के साथ में उसका implication क्या होगा, फिर अगर उसका समझो इनपुट है और उसका आउटपुट का इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर है, फिर उसका क्या होगा। तो वेरियस थिंग्स दे नीड टू आंसर दैट। इट इज नॉट सो सिंपल जैसे हमको लग रहा है कि बस 5 से 18 कर दिया या 28 से 18 कर दिया, इतना सिंपल नहीं है वो।
आई एग्री, करेक्ट हो।
तो
नो, बट अभी क्या पहले से डिक्लेयर कर दिया तो पीपल हैव स्टॉप परचेसिंग, लाइक किसी को भी
नहीं नहीं,
देना है तो पहले
उन्होंने सर अभी से गाड़ियां परचेज करनी बंद कर दी कि
बंद कर
28
दिए।
का हो जाएगा। आपको भी पता है स्टॉक मार्केट में ऑटोमोबाइल्स के शेयर के प्राइसेस तो आसमान छू रहे हैं अभी।
करेक्ट।
So, but it will take its own time. So nothing will happen on 3rd and 4th practically. वो खाली हमको फ्यूचर बता देंगे कि फ्यूचर में ये होने वाला है, बट इट विल बी अप टू दिवाली, मतलब अक्टूबर के पहले कुछ भी नहीं होगा सर।
करेक्ट, थैंक्स।
So now last question मनीष जी, the question reads like this, महेंद्र जी ने पूछा है, my dealer has purchased gold bullion by hand delivery from a supplier who was a private limited company. My dealer has invoice copy and also made the payment through banking channel. Also, supplier has filed GSTR1, GSTR3B. Now, department says that supplier has passed a fake credit as his number they have cancelled retrospectively. Now, how to defend that case? How to defend that ITC claim?
See, various show cause notices are issued on this aspect. The first is, I always say all my clients, go to your vendor, find out the fact. Whatever department is saying, अभी आप जैसे कोर्ट में भी जाते हो तो जज जो है एक साइड का नहीं सुनता है, दोनों साइड का सुनता है, एंड देन ही टेक अ कॉल। सो डिपार्टमेंट ने आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव दिया, बट यू गो टू योर सप्लायर ऑल्सो एंड यू फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज द फैक्ट, क्योंकि आपसे क्रेडिट रिकवर करने के पहले उससे टैक्स रिकवर करना चाहिए, और उससे जब टैक्स रिकवर करने गए उसने उसका क्या आंसर दिया, और उसने अगर टैक्स पे कर दिया तो आपको टैक्स पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है। So you go there, find out the fact, and then based on the fact, you take a decision. If he is absconding और उसने कई लोगों का पैसा लेके भाग गया है, जीएसटी का पेमेंट नहीं किया, then government has a right to recover the tax if you have taken a credit of the same. But if you have not taken any credit, then there is no issue.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you, Manish ji. Thank you, Harshal ji. So it was a very insightful session. Thanks both of you for answering all the questions. Thanks to the audience for being so active. We could not take few questions because of paucity of time, and the depth of the question was, I like it was a genuine question. People are facing this problem and they are seeking for answers on this forum. This is the success of this seminar. Ankush ji, I should appreciate your efforts on this. So with this, I now hand over the proceedings to our facilitator, Mr. Ankush Jain, to take us forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think audience is also blessed. कंट्री इज ब्लेस्ड कि जीएसटी इंडिया लेके आई है, ऐसी दूसरी कोई कंट्री नहीं है जिसने जीएसटी रिफॉर्म लाया और उसकी गवर्नमेंट रिपीट हुई है। मोदी जी लाए भी और रिपीट भी हुए और फिर से भी रिपीट हुए। सो दैट इज अ ग्रेट सक्सेस। तो जीएसटी 2.0 में आई एम श्योर बहुत इजी हो जाएगा। और सुई सर आप भी गवर्नमेंट में ही रहे हैं और मनीष सर भी रिप्रेजेंटेशन भेजते रहे, और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस इज व्हाट आवर ऑडियंस इज नीडेड। बैंक से भी हर्षल सर ऑडियंस नीडेड कि उनको कम रेट पे वर्किंग कैपिटल कैसे मिले। इफ दे आर नॉट प्रॉफिटेबल और दे आर स्टार्टिंग
Mhm.
बिजनेस, तो प्लीज डिजाइन सम प्रोडक्ट फॉर देम। So I have also read the question and I got the feeling of the audience. So they are desiring such solution from all of us, especially of the three of you. So बहुत मजा आया आज का। गवर्नमेंट साइड से कुछ क्वेश्चन आए नहीं है मेरे ख्याल से, ऑफलाइन साइड से आएंगे तो आई फॉरवर्ड टू ईच वन ऑफ यू ऑन मेल। humble request to please answer those questions. और सर हर्षल सर आपका परमिशन चल रहा है, आपका डिनर का भी टाइम होगा, सो विल नॉट कीप यू वेटिंग। एंड थैंक यू सुजीत सर एंड मनीष सर फॉर योर वैल्यूएबल इनसाइट। मनीष सर बहुत ब्यूटीफुल तरीके से आपने लोगों को आंसर दिया, उनकी प्रैक्टिकल ग्राउंड रियलिटी के क्वेश्चंस थे और आंसर दिए हैं। इफ मोर क्वेश्चंस आर कमिंग, वी विल सीक योर एडवाइस एंड सपोर्ट टू आंसर दोज क्वेश्चंस। So with this, we are ending this webinar, and a few more information. We have few more upcoming webinar with IDFC First, IndusInd, and ICICI Bank, with TransUnion, Sibyl, and other player. So request all to join, participate. Let's learn us together. Let's empower other entrepreneur. Raise lots of questions the way you have raised today. So thank you all 500 plus participants for coming, joining, learning. Thank you.
Thanks, Ankush. Thanks
Thank
to
you.
EMSME and tax buddy Sujit.
Thank you,
Uh,
Harshal ji.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Manish ji. Thank you, Ankush. Thank you.
So all participants, we are running a scheme discovery video. If you wish to see, then you can stay. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Isha, you can play that. Thank you so much, each one of you. Logging off. See you again in next webinar.